Hello, YouTube. In my ongoing effort to counter hysteria, hot takes, misinformation, and all that stuff, I've been working on a Lufenia Plus is not that bad sort of thing, but it was getting so lengthy that I decided to split it up and to make it into more general evergreen content, just to kind of show people that whatever kind of hype things are going around about the future content, it's usually not as bad as people hype themselves up to be. The name of the game today is going to be Lufenia resists and absorbs and shutouts and blah blah blah. There's a notion, it's pretty irresponsible going around, that you get a unit and they get shut out all the time, or units are too strong and they get shut out, and that largely is not the case. We remember it a lot because it tended to be a little more frequent in the Chaos era, and somewhat in the early Lufenia era too, where a unit was too strong. Let's thinking back to like Yuri in the Chaos era, where he got rework in EX Plus, and he was super strong. There was a bunch of Holy Absorb. And upcoming examples would be Paladin Cecil, who getting their Holy Absorbed a lot, more than usual at least, and Chase Immunity in the Terra month. But other than that, other than these large extreme cases, which are obnoxious that we talk about, and they stick in the front of our minds because they're so big. But if you take a step back and look at it, largely most of the cast usually is just chilling. They can do fine. And it's important to counter this hysteria so people know that we are not doomers here. The game is not ending. Calm down. It's really not that bad. Anywho, before we get going, I just wanted to say please subscribe to my channel. Helps the channel grow. Like this video as well. Leave a comment with your perception on the shutouts and future content and how I potentially change your mind. And please share this video around if you see anyone spreading misinfo carelessly. It's really obnoxious because this is really the easiest thing to look up and figure out. This is not my spreadsheet. Someone made it and they allowed me to use it, but they didn't want to be credited. So I did some double checking, but I might have missed something. So any mistakes on the sheet, I will pin a comment and put those there. So please, if you're watching this, please, if I put any updates down there, please double check. I think this should be good to screenshot, but I think I'll probably make an imgur, I don't know how to say it, link, and post that to be shared in the comments. I might just share this sheet in general, just to be easier. Anyways, also, something I wanted to call out is that Rem's website, lufenia.decidia.dev, is free. You can all check this, and this is pretty much a good source of truth for checking out what is stopped. Some stuff is missable, like the 9 Lost Chapter boss that only on surface was weak to wind and dark, but if you use any other element other than that, you got murdered. So that's not immediately accessible, but the information's out there, guys. So please, it's important to know the other side. So if you hear a take and you take it at face value, it's important to double check, because misinfo is pretty rampant in this community, and people have the wrong perceptions and things all the time. And I try to push back on it when I can, but I am one person. Everyone needs to do their part to push back. Anyways, let's talk about the people that are hit really hard, and then show the future in actual context. So the big one, the big one, Paladin Cecil with Holy Absorb. This is pretty nasty. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights in the next 2.5 months ish. That's pretty annoying, I'd say, and they definitely went too far in that regard, and I hate that they do that. But spoiler alert, after about, I want to say, 9's Lost Chapter, really, they kind of stopped doing that as a whole, and you can see that. I'm gonna highlight it right here. You can see it with here, like it's really not as the amount of check marks here compared to the above are night and day. They really started leaning against it, and this followed into Lufenia Plus, where pretty much there's pretty much no restrictions on who you can and can't use, but it's really not that bad, guys. We remember the big parts, but we don't remember the ones in between. So if you look at it, it's really like only a couple units compared to the whole cast that gets hurt. Let's talk about Chase Immunity 2. Definitely during Terra's month. Not quite. I mean, Boss Rush had some launch immunity too, but that's 2 out of 4 waves, so you could just not launch on those waves. But Terra's month was pretty much you could only launch on Ami's Lost Chapter. But other than that, you're pretty much not launching, which is pretty annoying, and I'm also not pleased to do, especially all of Dimensions End Tier 2. I hope you use Cloud and or Ramza in that first one, because you're not using, well, that's not true. You can use them, but why would you when you can't launch? You know, it's better to use them where the launch is emphasized. Anyways, and then Divine Owls can't be launched. The 9 can be launched, and then Bart's you can't launch there. But otherwise, you're just smooth sailing. Shout out to VL, Square Enix Airlines. Yeah, I mean, and then the other unit I wanted to highlight is Golbez. Golbez got unfortunately hit by it immediately as well. It wasn't as obvious with Golbez. Let's see, with Divine Alexander, this is Golbez's synergy period, and you can see he's cool there. But as soon as Bartz pulls up, Imperil immunity, which means Golbez can't hit weakness, which means he's tragic. Edward Lost Chapter, he could be used there, and then the Bison in the boss rush quest while it wasn't directly Imperil immune, it was debuff immune, so you couldn't get it to Dark Weak, so Golbez was hurt there. Second wave, Golbez is cool. Third wave, Dark Absorb, and then fourth wave was again Imperil immunity. So it was a bad idea to bring Golbez here. And then the Chaos Bahamut story with Elnarsh's Burst, that was also Imperil immune, so that's rough for Golbez. But after that, he's chilling. He's cool, you know. And look, it's crazy how empty it is down here. Like the dude who updated the sheet, he told me he stopped updating it because they just stopped shutting out units in general. Like it's actually pretty ridiculous. But too early. Well, yeah, he recorded it since the beginning of Lufenia, and you can see it got pretty nasty around this period too. But they really pulled back, and I have played Lufenia Plus. I've beaten them all, and I promise you, it is not nearly as restrictive as early Chaos. That's one thing I'm going to be emphasizing in these anti-hysteria videos, especially regarding Lufenia Plus. Lufenia Plus is nowhere near as bad as early Chaos. It doesn't justify some of the design choices, but a lot of it is being blown out of proportion. I'm bleeding a little into what I wanted to say earlier, but like Vayne was still fine on his events. You didn't get a free ride, but he still worked provided you bring a good team. I had that take initially too, and I learned how to better play against the bosses. Turn warping is fine. I greatly prefer, I'm getting way off topic now, but I greatly prefer enemies taking back their turns as opposed to getting nearly a month straight of launch immunity. That's annoying. Like when we just can't use units, that's annoying. And launch immunity is being overhyped for Sid Reigns. Sid Reigns has been used in nearly every Lufenia, except for probably the Garnet one, which actually is just straight up launch immune. But even when they reduced mid-air launch damage, Reigns was fine. But again, I'm getting off topic. The data's here, guys. We can see largely you can pretty much use anyone you want in the next upcoming months, except Arenea's event is pretty ridiculous. They went all out for that one. Arenea and 9 are super restrictive in terms of elements. And then you can't Imperil immunity doesn't shut out units who rely on elements unless they rely on doing weakness damage. So even Sayador was used in these Imperil immune events. And as I'm learning with Vincent, he can be used in Imperil immunity as well, maybe to his benefit. So it's not a death sentence. Most units can be used. Calm down, the world is not ending. Something to note here on the Humbaba story as well. It was range resist, and I think if you used any, I don't remember. This needs to double check. I'm actually not really sure on this, but I think if you used any element, you died. So I think all elements are out here as well. Might need a fact check on that one unless you paralyze them. So that's something to watch out for. And then Moggs doesn't really count because that wasn't a really fight. That was just Yuffie taking care of it alone. Kaiser Behemoth, if you use, I'm trying to highlight the big ones now. I think this one, if you use magic, you died. That might have been it. So while it wasn't but you could paralyze them and then do magic. So it's not quite there. There's just little gotchas there. But really, again, the ones that got hit big are Chase for during Terra's month, Holy Absorb. Over the next 2 months is it's like half and half. Either you use Pestle or you can't. Same with Sayador. Sayador got hit a little harder because he relies on it. And you can use Paladin Cecil and Holy Absorb. I know. It's just not, getting absorbed isn't fun. And then, but after that, really 9's Lost Chapter is really the point where it started to slow down outside of Golbez, who got hit by Imperil immunity and a mostly Imperil immunity and slightly Dark Absorb on one boss rush wave. If you hear anybody hyping anything else up, I promise you it's not true. After Lael, there was no real launch immunity ever. The 6-man raid was Lael. There was, I think there was Imperil immunity on Guy's Lost Chapter, so you couldn't use Kurasame, I guess, for the HP damage up debuff. But really, it's really not that frequent, guys. Nothing we can't play around. Nothing harder than we've had in the past. It is being element absorb, and unit shutouts are being completely overhyped. Don't fall for the hype. counter them whenever possible, and tell them what's good. All right. I hope this was helpful. Don't want to spend too much time on this. More videos countering the hysteria are coming soon. I'm working on them. Just want to make sure I get my words out. This one was actually one take, which I haven't done in a while, but I think I can handle it. I think I covered everything I needed to. Please like this video again. Subscribe to my channel if you ain't already. I know half of y'all ain't. Leave a comment again with your perception on unit shutouts and if I helped you or not. Share this video around if you can. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.